away from the visuals, it's still, I mean, if you'd rather have like a kind of 70s funk porn soundtrack to it, then fine. But it's not going to change the visuals. And I think that, you say it's got a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes. On IMDb, it's a 5.4, which is pretty low.
Yeah.
It's very low. And I don't know if that scene had something to do with that, perhaps. Then again, I know some people who watch this film purely because of that kind of thing. So
that's an interesting
point. For the gnarly deaths.
That's an interesting point you have. I never really tied those two together. That's interesting. Do you want to hear something about the extras in this movie? They had 1,000 of them.
Always. Yeah.
And Aja, he cast them all. And what they did was during the casting process, they're like, can you dance? Can you swim?
Jump up and down with one fist in the air?
Yeah, exactly.
Tired.
How good of a dancer are you? Then they're like, are you going to die? Are you going to do nudity? So what they did was, for all the days, so they shot these scenes for like 9 days, the big gore scene, then the ones extended, so maybe probably 15 days. So all the extras got wristbands that they wore the entire shoot. So if they had like a black wristband, that means they were good dancers, so they got put up front during scenes so they could look like the dancing was good. If they were the ones who were going to die, then they would show up to a specific tent and get rigged up to die. If they were the ones who were going to, show some nudity, then they had another band on them that would, get them taken to a specific scene. So I just thought, as far as logistics are concerned, that's a pretty smart way to handle all your extras. Just give them wristbands that you would have during spring break, and they knew exactly where to go when they showed up in the morning as extras.
Yeah, that's very well orchestrated. The spring break scenes, we don't really have spring break in the UK. You just have kind of this break in college or university or wherever, where you go home and, as far as I'm concerned, do your homework. Because that's the kind of kid that I was. I'm sure other people went away on these kind of trips. The spring break scenes look like hell. These look like the worst place I would ever want to go to is these scenes. Just drunk and yobbish loud, chanting and glittering and being general dicks to the environment and everyone else around them. And I'm glad that if this is an accurate depiction of an American spring break, then I'm glad I've never been to one.
All right, so I would say it's not overly exaggerated.
Oh dear.
I really like, you see these things in Daytona and all, like, spring breakers. Well, spring breakers the closest to spring break is like for people ever. But like those big parties, remember MTV used to have those big parties? That kind of, it's obviously heightened. But I thought the extras did a great job pulling. I mean, I'm sure they're having fun being there, but they're jumping around without the music. Like, they kept the energy up for all those days. So I was really, as like someone who's worked on sets, I was really impressed with those extras. Yeah,
I mean, it put across a scene, like, I'm not a spring break kind of person, and it believably looked like a place I don't want to go to. So they did a good job.
And they would dump 7,500 gallons of blood a day into the water, but the blood was organic and it could feed the fish.
Okay, that's good. And it attracted them to make the scenes more realistic. They attracted actual piranha.
Yeah, in the lake. It was crazy. They came from a thing. I don't know. So
it was supposed to be a shark film, but then all these piranha showed up, and they just used it.
I love, though, when the first attack breaks out, some guy goes, "Shark!"
What else could it be?
Yeah.
It'll be a giant crocodile. That's ridiculous.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We've already done that, Mark. It wasn't.
Yeah, you're right. That movie. You know what's crazy, man, is I liked Lake Placid until I watched it again.
I liked the idea of watching it, having never watched it before, because of how good it could have been. And then I saw it and realized it was not that good.
Yeah, it was.
Let's not go back to that one.
All right, well, yeah, let's leave it alone.
We've got to be like a shark and move forwards. That's in our past.
Always forward, except for the deep blue sea sharks that go backwards.
Yes.
But that's a rare gem.
And recognize guns.
Oh, yeah. And then 47 meters down, too, I think they teleport.
Okay, I am here for teleporting sharks.
All right, so how about this? Let's take a quick break, and then we come back. We'll actually talk about the plot of Piranha 3D. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. Let's talk about Dreyfus and his death, getting sucked into a whirlpool, and then...
Which he kind of creates by dropping the beer or knocking the beer in the water.
Yeah, so
it kind of sets off an earthquake.
He litters, and then it's like the straw that broke the camel's back, dropped it in, and then he starts getting sucked around the whirlpool. And I like how he gets wiped out, and then his little hand pops up in the air.
Yeah, kind of Evil Dead style.
That's some fun.
Or Carrie style.
But just watching Dreyfus being killed in this movie, it made me happy. Not the fact that he was dead, but they just brought someone from Jaws to kill.
Yeah, there's not many people they could have brought with Robert Shaw and Roy Scheider both no longer with us. They could have Spielberg maybe, or is the mayor still alive? But less recognizable. So Dreyfus is their highest profile.
Oh, that'd be great if Spielberg was in the boat. How awesome would that be?
Yeah, that would have been fun. But I did like how the boat survived, and the fish that he'd caught was still in the boat, having survived. So if Dreyfus hadn't tried to escape and like run the motor and get out of the whirlpool, he'd have been fine.
Yep.
If he just sat it out, waited in the boat, he'd have been fine.
I love how when people get flustered in these movies, they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I'm not saying that if I was in that situation, I'd have acted any differently. I definitely wouldn't have. I would have fallen out before he did.
So wait, that's never happened to you on your jet ski travels?
I've kind of learned. I've done some boating in the past. I fell out quite a few times. Done some punting, fallen out of punts many times, and fallen out of canoes and stand-up paddleboards more than I'd like to admit. So I've learned how to not fall out of things. And jet skiing so far, only once, and it was shallow water, and there were very, very few piranha around.
Oh,
very few.
Good.
Almost none.
I love these piranhas in this movie, by the way. They're just mean.
They look so ugly.
Aren't they? They're just mean. They're mean little suckers, isn't it? Isn't that great?
Yeah. And they're just the kids. That makes sense why they're so mean. But yeah, they just look like fish skulls already. Their design is like a skull with like flaps and gills and whatever on it.
And they just
want disgusting
death. And they've been so you know what's funny? I've watched this movie a couple times. So, I watched it back in 2010, and I just remember it making me exhausted. So I really haven't watched it since then too much. I would say maybe background watch it. But watching it again, I keep forgetting that they cannibalized themselves in those caves. So just millions were being born, and then they ate each other?
Well, I was thinking about that because a cannibal population decreases as time goes on, because you need to consume the amount of calories to keep yourself like going. And so if you start with like 1 million fish, and then half of them eat the other half, and so you got 500,000 left, and half of them eat the other half, 250,000, just to keep living. So you need to have just this giant population of fish to sustain a cannibalistic society. And I reckon they must have another source of diet somewhere along the way, whether it's plankton, whether they've managed to just absorb salt from the water. It's a lake, so it's not salt. Something else has got to be in there. It cannot just be an entirely cannibalistic. I thought about this too much. But so eating each other, that's the scariest thing you can imagine. But also, if you wait out long enough, there'll just be one left.
What? That's funny. What are they going to do?
Just wait them out.
Just give it a week.
Don't go in the water. Stay out of the lake. Wait till there's one. Kill it.
What are they going to do to rid this?
Not go in the lake.
Right? Like what? There's no way they're going to catch, because there was, how many eggs were there? All right, so
there were thousands, millions. I don't know. There's loads.
All right, I guess we're getting ahead of
a small amount.
We meet Elizabeth Shue. She's the sheriff. She has a kid. He wants to go hang out with these wild girls because they need a local to take them to go to good spots.
But he's got to stay home and babysit.
Yep. But he doesn't want to, so he gives his little brother and sister money, and eventually these seismologists show up because there was some crazy activity. So Elizabeth Shue, the sheriff,
an earthquake happened. So
So then they show up to dive into this cave, and then they get into this like he said, it's an unending. He said he didn't see an end to that cave.
Which makes sense, because they go down there and they see the eggs, and they see what turned out to be the child fish, but they don't see any adults anywhere. So there must be the one that takes out Adam Scott is a fish big enough to take out Adam Scott. So it's a big fish, and they don't see any. So there must be a huge cavern down there for it to have hidden an entire society of these giant fish.
Do you think the big fish lay a ton of eggs so that they can eat them?
I mean, fish eggs are nice. So salmon roe on a bit of toast. That's a good snack.
So caviar.
Yeah.
For piranha.
Hey, these fish have expensive tastes.
What do you think?
I mean, I'd try piranha caviar.
Wait, what?
I wouldn't go down and get it myself. Yeah. Because it doesn't seem to end well for people that go down there. But if somebody else wants to risk it and hopefully survive and bring it out, then yeah, I'll give that a try.
Could a submarine survive down there? Like a Jim Cameron submarine going and exploring?
So maybe that's why James Cameron couldn't be in this film, because he was down there harvesting piranha eggs for all of his billionaire friends.
Oh, that's what he was doing. He was making government secret, like Lost World or Jurassic World.
Yeah.
He was harvesting piranha military.
I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense.
But you know what I like? There's no explanation. It's just an earthquake happens. something gets opened up. So for some reason, the piranhas go back into the hole after they kill Dreyfus, which I don't quite understand.
I think, yeah, actually, they must come out, and then, well, we don't really know how big the lake is.
Yeah, it's true.
If
25 miles, they said.
But is it one giant kind of circle, or is it kind of meandering with little legs off here and there, and he just happened to be off one of the little tributaries, I don't know, lake terms, off in one little area, and the rest of the lake is kind of this huge party zone, which the old man's staying away from for this day. So the fish come out, and then there's the little bit over there, and they gradually hear the music. The fish want to go and see the wet t-shirt competition, so they hear of this, they go and see it, and then they eat everyone over there. Takes some time.
Ooh, and they also ate that little fish. They also ate that diver, the cliff diver, who just jumps in the water and goes yeehaw, and then he goes.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad death too. It's unfortunate.
He probably does that every day of his life.
That's how he gets to work every morning. He swims to work.
Yeah, and then piranhas just munched. He went down quick on that one.
Down quick.
I mean, you have 50 of those things biting though, you're gonna be done pretty fast.
Yeah, it's not going to take long. I mean, they're like machines. They are eating machines. That's what Christopher Lloyd is in this film. That's what he says.
He only filmed one day in this movie, and he did a lot of expository lifting in this movie.
I can believe he only did one day.
He had a fossil.
One of his scenes are in one room.
He had just brought in a random fossil of a piranha.
Yeah. Do you not have a back room full of various fish fossils? No, that's why they didn't ask you to do this film, Mark. They asked Christopher Lloyd, because he's got that.
Yeah, you're right. I bet wrong. I have like a ton of old grouper fossils, but grouper don't really, they're giant grouper, right?
Yeah, but they're not really a threat. So if somebody finds a prehistoric grouper, it's less of a concern.
You say that now.
As far as we know.
What data do you have to back this up?
Well, I'm looking at the list of grouper-related deaths in past years, and it's not a long list.
Wait,
not a long list.
Have grouper killed things?
Not that I know of.
Type in can a grouper...
Each other? I think they're cannibalistic.
Type in can a grouper kill a shark?
I just googled grouper-related death, and nothing has come up.
Can a grouper eat a shark? What do you think? Considered let's see.
Giant... I mean, if you get enough of them and the shark is already dead, yes, they can.
Oh, hear this. Giant Goliath groupers
eat I'm on that
crustaceans, other fish, octopuses, young sea turtles, sharks, and barracudas. They're known to attack divers, and they attack lemon sharks. Atlantic Goliath grouper.
Nice. How big is that? I mean, I'm looking at a picture of one, and it doesn't look as dangerous as a piranha, but it is a lot bigger.
8 feet long and 800 pounds.
That's a big fish.
Oh, look at this. 500-pound Goliath grouper eats shark as shocked Florida fishermen watch. Well, that's in Florida, so you can't count that.
What were you expecting?
There's always a bigger shark.
There's always a bigger shark.
Hey, that's a Phantom Menace.
Anything from Qui-Gon Jinn. There's always a bigger shark.
You just dropped some excellent Phantom Menace lines on us here. Listen.
Well, it's that time of year. It's Star Wars time.
I'm telling you, if Jurassic World 3 doesn't have a giant grouper, I'm walking out.
It's got the mosasaur. That's kind of a giant grouper.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's as close as you're gonna get, I think.
They were feeding that mosasaurus great white sharks.
Great white sharks. They were feeding it great white sharks. With everything they could feed it, they fed it great white sharks.
How many does it eat a day?
I mean, not enough to keep it for it to be happy and want to stay in its tank. As soon as it got the chance, that thing escaped.
Now, are they capturing these great white sharks, or are they genetically modifying them?
I think genetically modifying them how?
Well, are they just creating sharks?
Well, are they just kind of cloning sharks? Well, they clone dinosaurs, so why not clone sharks? But then it's probably going to be cheaper to go out and catch a shark than to go through the whole cloning process with this animal that already exists in the world today.
If there's,
but it's the odd choice of the sharks are probably only what they feed it for the show. Behind the scenes, they're going to feed it tuna. I don't know, something a bit more common and easier to catch. A great white shark is people want to go and see a giant dinosaur eat a great white shark.
How many shows a day?
How many shows a day? It's been a while since I went to SeaWorld, and I'm never going back. So it's probably 2 or 3 would be my guess.
So they're feeding 3 great white sharks. They're probably running the park 7 days. So that means
maybe they do say 2 shows on a weekday and 3 on a weekend. So we're looking at 16 a week.
So 16. I mean, they're killing hundreds of sharks.
Yeah, but they got that dinosaur money.
52.
They don't care.
Yeah, they're killing 832 great white sharks. What's the great white shark
Only.
population?
I mean, it's getting less every year.
Right? Like, because that was a
With the
full grown.
dinosaurs.
That was a full grown